Welcome back to another episode of Born Again Bow Hunting Podcast. We have the search on, and we're going to talk a little bit about their seasons. Both of them shot some phenomenal deer this year.
Phenomenal's not even the word.
Oh,
It's like out of this world. You know, these boys aren't chasing the 150s.
They blew us out of the water for sure.
We see a 150 coming and we're shaking in our boots. These boys are like, maybe
Another 2 years.
Maybe 2 years. yeah.
But no, we wanted to talk about their story, and then you guys also uploaded a video. I believe was the title like Idols, or
yeah.
The thumbnail was pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know,
that's what it said
blatant.
on the thumbnail was idol. Yeah.
So we kind of want to talk about the backside of that then too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a series that we wanted to start. We kind of had like a different idea of where we wanted to go with it in the beginning, as far as like a weekly upload. And I would love to do that, but YouTube is like very finicky as far as like I was trying to explain it to Daniel, and I don't have YouTube down to a science. I don't think anybody does.
Maybe Mr. Beast.
Yeah, right. It's so tricky, but also very finicky. And obviously it's not going to appeal to such a broader audience as like our hunting films will. And so I don't think I can put it out every week, but it's definitely a series that we want to put out maybe once a month or something. Just topics that get guys thinking a little bit more.
So what do you mean? I'm curious. What do you mean by are you afraid that the algorithm will...
Yeah, well, I saw it happen. I put that video out, and I saw our next couple uploads tank.
Really?
After that, which for no reason. Like we had really good retention, click-through rates were really high. It didn't make sense, but it was like we lost this trust or something with YouTube. It was kind of weird.
Interesting.
Yeah,
almost like a shadow ban type thing. Like. Yeah, you put something out there where they don't want to push it, and then it just gets put
Wouldn't
back.
surprise me one bit.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, it's just not as popular of a topic as just a big deer.
Yeah,
maybe even offended some people, but
oh well.
Yeah, like I said, it's almost like we still feel like we have a mission, and we want to reach as many people as possible, not just to pump our egos or anything, but we feel like we have a mission where we want as many people possible of hearing the gospel.
Sweet.
I think, you kind of touched on, that we want to touch as many people and have as many people hear the gospel as possible. And that's been a non-negotiable with our brand, with the search is like the first couple videos we put out, we had secular music in it. And, we had a lot of trouble with that because of the message in the video. And, it would be easy to say, well, let's take that message out and let's keep the music in or do whatever. But for our mission and what we're trying to do is it's non-negotiable. It's, the search is, it's more than the search for the next big buck. It's, everybody's searching for something.
Amen.
And
Amen.
So, that's our mission and our brand.
I kind of forgot about that. Yeah, so we got this music subscription where we could use licensed music. And they flagged and demonetized our videos because of our Christian message in that video. And so we just canceled our subscription with them. And
wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
That stuff drives me nuts.
It makes me wonder, you talked about, and that's kind of why I was asking about the video with the idol video. It makes me wonder, if truly, like, we all know that social media is just the root of all evil, in all honesty. I mean, if you're not careful with it, you can literally see anything you want. And it makes me wonder, because I feel like, we're very open about our faith. And I feel like a lot of times we've been kind of pushed down in the algorithm just because we're not afraid to say that, we're followers of Christ. And, we talk about it openly a lot on the podcast. But at the end of the day, we've had a lot of people reach out to us and say, hey, because of you, et cetera, going to church, or, you open a light for us or whatever. So that just, at the end of the day, I care less about the views. It's just those people that we're talking to. But I guess what I'm getting at is it's extremely frustrating to know that, they're, the big man, big YouTube, whatever you want to call it, is probably flagging that kind of content.
Well, if you watch a video, how many times is there an ad pop up before like the kill shot or something? Like somebody is watching this, or they have some kind of,
I say it's more AI
system to know, like, okay, here's a big moment, we're going to have an ad for whatever. I'm sure they're doing the same type of thing for the good stuff tw
Right.
I would imagine.
Right.
Kevin got us a new fireplace in the...
Are you getting cold
Oh,
already?
dude, I am toasty. How do you turn this thing down?
I think the heat's off already.
But to piggyback off what you were saying, Matt, was
Leave the light on.
it is frustrating because it's what is today? Wednesday. It's Wednesday evening. You're taking time out of your schedule. You've got really nice cameras. You've got a setup here that costs money. You're putting so much into it, and then to get,
I know. Trust me.
Yeah.
It's okay. We're not doing it for the views.
I know,
It's okay.
but you do have a mission, right? Like
Yeah.
we want everybody to hear the gospel. We want everybody to hear the good news, but it's hard when, unmasked or masked people are censoring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I want to take a moment and also, appreciate the fact that, regardless of that, we have, what started for us as a passion project turned into, a huge, a huge brand, or the search has really come about faster and been more successful than we ever thought it would be in a short period of time. So, we give thanks to God. We give,
100%,
that's a Jesus thing. That's nothing we did.
Right.
We're just stewards of His. So.
Yeah, we're not that entertaining.
Well, before we get too far into the podcast, why don't you guys introduce yourselves, give the elevator speech of who you are, where you're from, talk a little bit about the brand, but we kind of covered that already, but go ahead.
Go ahead, Daniel.
My name's Daniel Schwartz with The Search. Just passionate about deer hunting. Grew up Amish.
Oh, really? I
yeah.
didn't even notice the... Oh, Kev could probably spit a
No, I
Dutchman at you.
Grew up Amish. First 17 years of my life, I was Amish.
Wow.
We hunted deer for meat, as most Amish do. And, really never got serious about deer hunting, like trophy hunting, until the last handful of years. I've had an opportunity to shoot some pretty nice bucks. So then, Matt Dillon, he was selling Novix tree stands, and I still have a gun store, an outfitter store. So, met him that way, got to talking to him, and realized what he did, how passionate he was about deer hunting, and just became friends with him. Learned about his faith. I loved that about him, and just appreciated him for that. And then, we started The Search, and, here we are.
Yeah, awesome. And just before I forget my train of thought, I don't know what episode it is, but we've had Dylan on before.
Yes.
And if anybody wants to check that episode out, I would highly encourage you to kind of go back and kind of talk about your testimony and stuff like that. So, obviously this episode won't be about that, but definitely not the stereotypical, raised in the Christian household, so I give you a lot of props for.
Yeah, I can't remember what all we got into.
We got it. It was pretty deep.
It was a good one.
Yeah, it was pretty deep. You pretty much laid it out there.
Yeah. Well, the past is, whew.
Yeah. Or maybe I might have misspoken. It might have been a Christian household, but then you kind of went down a wrong path. But long story short, you kind of made some mistakes, but then you got yourself out of it.
Yeah, plenty of those.
Yeah.
You were telling your story, and I was like thinking of myself as like a traveling Sidewinder salesman or something. But anyway, so I'm Dylan Gandy from The Search. like Matt and Kev said, I've been on here before. Had some experience with another show, Whitetail Edge, who you guys might be familiar with. Did some editing and producing for them. Worked at Novix Tree Stands for a little bit, and then started my own deal. That's just to make it a really quick summary.
Mm-hmm.
So,
When did you guys start the search?
24.
So 2 years old, roughly, year and a half.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even credit it as 2 years old, really. I mean, I brought this idea to Daniel. I don't know, the name kind of stuck with me. I really loved the name, The Search. And then I actually got it from, you guys know the rapper NF. He's got a song called The Search.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, man, that's pretty
Dude,
cool.
don't get-
Yeah.
That's weird. Most people don't know. I shouldn't say weird. It's uncommon. A lot of people don't know NF. and-
Yeah, he is so talented.
Dude, it's so good.
His lyrics are so good.
So good.
So, Daniel's like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
No.
He's a Christian rapper.
Yeah, he's a Christian rapper.
But he doesn't come across as a Christian rapper. A lot of like when I say NF, because like people ask me who do you listen to and stuff, and I do enjoy NF quite a bit, and like I've said it before. They're like Christian rapper. They kind of roll their eyes because most Christian rappers are very like
it's kind of corny.
Yeah.
Yeah, this NF is not.
Yeah. When I'll put it to you this way: when I put it on my headphones and go for a run, my mile time goes down almost 2 minutes.
Because you're listening.
Like it's so good.
You run a mile?
Yeah.
Multiple miles.
I've been running every day.
Mile back or mile there and a mile back.
So anyway, that's where the name actually came from. So credit
I like
to
that.
credit to NF.
I like
That's
that.
cool.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Shout out.
You'll never hear this.
Yeah.
And then so I brought it to Daniel, and then I don't know like how that conversation went.
I was gonna ask, how did that like partnership
Yeah, so
happen?
I knew of Daniel. Daniel knew of me, but we never really officially like met. We have like a ton of mutual connections.
Okay.
Obviously, live in like we live in the same county, same area, and so I sold those tree stands to him, and we just kind of started talking from there. I told him I had this idea, but I don't have any money.
Well, to be fair, he called me one day. He's like, "Hey, you should start filming." And I'm like, "Well, I've thought about that, but I know nothing about it, and I don't know how to edit. I don't know how to do any of this." And he's like, "Well, lucky for you, I do."
And I got a rig to do it all
That's
with.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I did have a rig, but Daniel improved the rig by far. So, but like without each other, like we wouldn't be where we're at. I don't know. To me, like God just orchestrates things so perfectly.
Yeah.
And I feel like me and Daniel, he did that. He did just that. I feel like it was just something that was supposed to happen. And so we met. I bring him this idea, and we team up. And what's cool about it, and I think what was one of maybe my sales pitches to Daniel to get him on board to film, was my background or like my style of hunting is so much. I don't want to say it's so much different than Daniel's, but I got to give the little backstory here. So I've done some urban bow hunting. And that's all new. Like 2022 was my first urban deer. I've only killed 2 urban bucks. And so my style is like I knock on a ton of doors and just get permissions. Like I don't own land. I have one small lease. That's it. And I don't even hunt it. But Daniel, on the other hand, is a bigger landowner. And so when I came to Daniel, I was like, man, like you've got a pretty cool opportunity. Like you've got all this land, like the projects that we can do filming wise, like is
Endless.
Yeah, it's really cool. I bring a different style. He brings a different style. We got some other guys on our team. My brother lives in Louisiana. He hunts Oklahoma. Obviously, completely different ball game. And then we got Dave Stuckey down in Southern Ohio, which is, I mean, even though we're in the same state, we're talking a completely different ball game yet
Right.
again. Like,
Yeah,
Right.
and he's killing.
yeah,
He's killing some
giants.
license.
And just Ohio's so diverse. Like, you go an hour away,
Yep.
and it's like you're in a different state.
100%.
And so that's kind of like how the search got started. And we launched our first, we launched some turkey stuff in the spring, and they did awful.
Most turkey stuff does.
Yeah. And we launched our first deer episode, I think in June or July, around there. And our first video, it was, I think it was Michaela, wasn't it? It was my wife from the year before. She killed a 165-inch deer. First deer, first hunt,
Yeah.
opening day.
Don't
like,
don't remind me.
insane. But that was our first episode, and it did really well. And then we put some more out, and they just kept getting better and better and better. And then I was mind blown because I've kind of dabbled in some YouTube stuff in the past, and I wasn't seeing the same
Results.
Yeah, and it's not like I was a YouTube whiz by any means. It was hard to explain other than us placing the gospel in there and like
Excuse me.
not taking, I don't know, like I felt like in the beginning, and we still do, we put our ego aside and just we really do have fun with it. One of the reasons I wanted to start the search was because I wanted to video and tell my stories like how I want to. And yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of rambling
No,
here.
that's
but
what we're here for.
I don't know. Like we didn't really know like why is this working so well? Like to us, there was no other explanation other than God, because our biggest engagement, Kevin, I was telling you before we did this, our biggest engagement in the beginning and still is our message that we put in every single video. It's like the number one thing people want to talk about.
That's awesome.
You know, there's people that hate it, but the majority love it.
Yeah, and they support it.
Yeah.
And they want you to know, hey, you know, I'm going to continue to support this for the message that you guys are putting out there.
Right.
You know, I'm sure.
Yeah. And so started in July of 25, putting our first deer video out. And here we are in the beginning of March, and we're like 38 subscribers away from 10,000 already.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
which
that's
is
awesome.
Congratulations.
So awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks. Yeah,
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's been pretty awesome. And yeah, there you go.
Well,
I don't say that boastingly either.
No, no.
We're
Right.
just,
No, no,
we're
no.
super proud of like,
Yeah. No, we get it. We
and,
understand.
and like dumbfounded, really. Like,
Right.
it doesn't make sense.
I mean,
but,
yeah, obviously God, you know,
he's got his hand in this. You
yeah,
know,
for sure.
and you know, I'm a firm believer, and you know, I assume everybody at this table is too, that He opens and closes doors, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So if He wants you to go through that door, you know, you can go through it, but you're not going to get His blessing, and it's going to be 10 times harder. You can still accomplish it, but it's going to be a harder road. But if you go through that door that He wants you to go through, and you get His blessing, watch
Yeah,
out.
I'm really glad you said that too, because there are some painful doors that are closed at times.
Oh, 100%.
Like, you know, there's been some decisions that I've had to make, and even stuff that's happened against my will. I could say, like, on this whitetail hunting journey that I've had,
Yeah.
that doors have closed that hurt, or decisions that I've had to make to close doors. You know, not always easy, but I trust a God with a much brighter, better plan than
Oh,
I ever
100%.
Yeah.
could dream up.
Yeah.
And then, you know, as humans, you know, we want to be in control, and we've talked about this a little bit on our podcast before, but you know, we want to be in control.
Absolutely.
And without, I mean, look at everything we do in our lives. We are in control. I mean, I drove here. I was in control of my truck. I know it sounds cliche, but everything we do is because of what we want, or, you know, domino effect based on that. Well, now you're telling me that you got to let God be in control. It's a hard thing to swallow sometimes. And then, you know, but the moment that you do, oh my, I mean, I wish people would understand. I mean, I'm sure we'll get into it too, because I know that, you know, we want to talk a little bit about your guys' hunts first, and then we'll get in kind of the meat and potatoes of why we wanted to do this podcast. Was
I want to piggyback off of what you just said, because, you know, my experience with my hunt this year, what my takeaway is from that, and what I've been telling everybody is, if you want God in control of everything, you have to put God into everything.
Amen.
And
Amen.
that I experienced that firsthand with my hunt this year.
Well, why don't we just get into it? Because I think it'd be a perfect point. Let's just dive
Avenue
into
to go
it.
down, yeah.
Sure. So yeah, if you guys have seen the video, I found this buck.
Wait, did you guys watch it?
I did, yeah.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Junkyard, yeah.
I'm a subscriber. All right, come on.
So yeah, I found this buck, in July, and I was just like, it was on a farm that I own that I almost didn't put cameras out because it's just like this narrow strip of woods, and it's like there's not going to be anything here, and
That's
so
where they're always hiding.
I throw a camera out there, and a couple days later, I wake up one morning, I'm like, oh my gosh, look at this deer.
Yeah.
So I found him, and then it's, just trying to figure out, how can I set up to, kill this thing, because that's my number one target. And so, he goes on the neighbors, he's bedding on the neighbors, and, I'm glassing him from, where I can see that field. My in-laws live up the hill, and I'm up in their driveway glassing them, like trying to figure this deer out and get everything figured out.
You just gave away your spots, everybody in that county.
That's true. That's true.
We can cut that out. No, I was gonna say, let's not spot burn because you'll get in trouble.
Here's the thing: he's dead.
Well, true.
I mean, it's up to you.
But we know how people are. Is they're going to chase a dead
If
deer.
you
too.
want
Remember
us
when
to-
I said Daniel's a big landowner?
Yeah.
The county already knows because
Okay.
of in the episode you see the oil well in the
Gotcha.
junkyard, and everybody knows where that's at. So
Yeah.
it's not a secret.
Gotcha. Okay.
But anyways, so I'm just super obsessed with this deer. The neighbor was kind enough to, he doesn't let anybody hunt this little 10-acre patch of woods, but somehow he let me hunt, and I was very thankful for that. I've got a great relationship with him. So, I'm just trying to, get this all squared away and ready, get my stands hung, be ready for opening day. And so everything's working out perfectly. And, I'm going to go out there opening weekend and I'm going to shoot this deer. There's no question in my mind, because I've got him figured out, right? And, the one thing that the video didn't necessarily talk about or show is for 2 days, what was it, September 28th, I think was opening day. So, so the Thursday and Friday before opening day in the woods that I first found him at on my farm, he is daylighting morning and evening like clockwork. I mean, just like
Couldn't be a better scenario.
couldn't be a better scenario. I've got he helped me hang the set, I've got easy access. It's perfect. It is perfect. All I need is a north wind and he is dead. So everything lines up and I've got a wind where I can hunt him opening day. And I'm telling everybody, this deer's dead. Like I'm already counting him dead.
Yeah.
And
Tag punched.
Yep. And so I'm like, I'm the greatest whitetail hunter there ever was, right?
Yep.
Like I've got this deer figured out. He is dead. And so I didn't want to hunt him opening morning. I'm not a big fan of early season morning hunting.
I understand.
So I'm like, I'm going to go in, opening day that evening and kill him. And, I woke up that Saturday morning and checked my cameras, and my cameras in the neighbor's woods, he had moved back over there. And it was 6 weeks before he ever showed back up on my property there again.
Wow.
And just like that, everything for the whole hunt changes. And then, rut comes in, and then he's, 4 properties over on another farm that I own. And I'm just chasing my tail off, just trying to figure out, his pattern at this time, which is, crazy because it's a rut, right? The
Yeah.
pattern is where the hot doe is.
Yep, and you're scrambling at this point.
And I'm scrambling, and then I start, hearing people talk, you see that, hear
They're
about that
seeing
big
him.
buck.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
even my mother-in-law was like, called my wife, I think I saw Daniel's deer out there in the field. And I'm like, shut up.
She posts on Facebook.
I want to pause you real quick, Daniel. I hope you do the same when I tell my story too, because there's some details that you might remind me of. But this deer is crossing over how many different parcels?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
20 plus easy,
Yeah.
I would say. 20 different parcels
Mm-hmm.
going back and forth. So carry on.
So the other interesting thing about this that made it a little bit difficult is that the neighbor, the 10-acre parcel of woods that he allowed me to hunt, that the deer was still coming through there as he was rutting. He was still hitting that woods.
Mhm.
I was still getting pictures of him there. That's the first time I ever had an encounter with him was there. And so to hunt that woods, the neighbor, kindly asked me not to park on his property.
Mm-hmm.
And so my access to that, I couldn't park anywhere close to it. So I'm asking my buddies, I'm asking my wife. My wife dropped me off, I don't know how many times,
Mhm.
and picked me up. Shout out to her because, I mean, who wants to do that, right? But she did. The first encounter I had with the buck, again, isn't shown in the video, but, you get in that time frame of the year where it's legal shooting, but it's actually too dark to see your pins,
Mhm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm hunting this guy's property, and the buck is bedded up on a ridge, and I'm right on a rub line, on a scrape line, and it's daylight enough that I see him up on the ridge, hitting a scrape.
What time of year is this?
This was middle of October, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. So
you still have a lot of foliage on the trees and
Yeah,
everything, like
yes.
you said. It's hard to see the
Yeah.
pin. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I'm hunting the edge of a field with like a swamp, and so he's got a scrape line right inside the woods, and so the deer works down, and I check my phone, and I'm like, I got 5 minutes. Like at this point he's 20 yards in front of me, tending a scrape, and I'm like, I don't know what to do because I can't really see him. And then he walks to me, and I'm like, okay, I put the camera on him, and I can kind of see his rack. And at this point, he is literally 10 yards from me, and I draw back, and I'm like, okay, if I can see the pin, I'm taking this shot. And I couldn't see the pin, and I let back down at 10 yards. And he circled around, went back into the woods, never spooked.
I give you a lot of credit because most guys would have just dove out of that tree stand. And
Yeah, that was hard.
Yeah.
That was hard.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't right because I wasn't going to fling an arrow and not feel
I'm
confident
with you.
about it.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
And
ethical shots.
the in the video it shows the first time he daylighted, he come running across that field. And that night, he chased that doe. Him and that other buck chased that doe all around the woods. And again, it was the same situation. I literally had 2 minutes of legal shooting with him at 20 yards, and I drew on him, couldn't see him, and just let him walk.
Mm-hmm.
The story of this is really, where God comes into this story is, I'm sitting here and I'm arguing with myself and with God, saying, God, this is the mission. I have to kill this buck because it's going to make a good episode, and people are going to hear the good news, right? And I'm just like, that's what's got to happen, right? Like it needs to happen.
Right.
Like, why aren't you letting this happen? And so, I'm becoming literally obsessed with this deer. Like my wife is telling me, like, this deer is controlling you, your happiness, everything. Like it's become an obsession. And I'm like, I'm just trying to brush it off. Like, no, I'm not really upset about the deer. It's just work stuff, right?
Yeah.
All the time, it's like, where's he been for 3 days? It's like, I'm just,
you do the classic wake up at like 2 a.m. and
oh yeah,
squint at
yeah.
your phone and scroll
Absolutely.
through and then
So
see
like,
if he's there and close it back, go back to sleep.
so like, I'm literally just obsessed with this deer. And like I'm trying to justify my obsession with this deer. And it never works out. I'm always at the wrong place. Like I've got 3 stands up where I can hunt this deer where he could potentially show up, right? And I think it was 2 or 3 times, like I picked the wrong location. He daylights at the other spot. And it's like, man, God, I can't catch a break.
Yeah.
It honestly didn't make sense. Like, you think you got a deer figured out, and him and I on the same page. Like, we're dumb, but we ain't plumb dumb.
Yeah.
And we feel like, it's definitely gonna happen here tonight. Like,
Yeah.
dude, I started like feeling bad. Like Daniel's calling, is like, what do you think? And I'm like,
I don't want to give you the wrong advice to go sit in the stand.
Yeah. So, imagine this. My wife drops me off at, 4:00 or whenever I'm going in, and then I'm sitting in the stand checking cameras, and then I call her, and it's like, 45 minutes of daylight left, and I'm like, I call her, and she's like, "Did you get him?" And I'm like, "No, come pick me up." I'm done.
You're checked out. Yeah.
So, so it's, it just gets bizarre. I cannot figure this deer out. I can't get him patterned. Can't get him figured out. And
hold on, this is a spot where I want to stop you real quick too. And I feel like this is one of those instances or moments where this is where maybe a lot of guys mess up, is like they're going in completely blindly. And I just want to notate here that he was not just hunting, hoping that the deer was going to walk by. Obviously, you did have some hope, but it was like that expecting him. Like we're expecting
an educated,
movement.
Educated guess.
It wasn't him just going out blindly.
that's right.
It was
That's
they
right.
were
And-
calculated moves that we felt was
The right move for
Yeah.
the right point in time.
Right.
Yeah.
And one huge point about this is I never blew this deer out. He never scented me once. I always made sure that I was hunting properly with the right winds and everything. He never smelled me. So like I knew I wasn't just blowing this deer out.
Right.
of the
You're not
area.
pushing them out
Right.
farther and
So
farther
I,
out.
I was still paying attention to what I was doing. Like Dylan said, I wasn't just blindly going out and just sitting there hoping. So I think it was, early December. It had to be early December. Dylan went with me when he could to film. And so we were hunting him one day, one evening, and we talk about a lot of things when we're hunting, right? We're just sitting there, just talking about life, right? So we always end up talking about the Bible and Jesus and life in general. So Dylan tells me, he says, "Have you ever read the Bible all the way through?" And I said, "Well, I think I probably have read the whole Bible, but like not from start to finish."
Yeah, cover to cover.
He said, "Well, I'm going to challenge you." And I was like, "Yeah, what's that?" He said, I want you to read the Bible. I'm going to challenge you to read the Bible from cover to cover in 90 days. Guys, today is day 85. I'm going to finish Sunday reading the Bible from
that's
cover to cover
awesome.
in 90 days.
that was the night you killed him too.
No,
Oh, it wasn't?
it was 2 weeks before.
Okay.
So,
Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
well, thank you. So thanks for the challenge, by the way.
Well, I was like, I'm gonna do it with you. Day 30.
But so I start reading the Bible, and I don't remember exactly what day it was, but it was like maybe a week after that. I go out to hunt, and like I am just completely defeated. I'm just like at my wit's end. Like I don't even know what to do next, and like I'm just feeling almost hopeless.
And this is mid-December now at this point.
Well, yeah, it's. I want to say that was maybe the last day of rifle season, because I killed him on the 13th, so it was a week or so before.
Okay.
So I climb in the stand, and I'm just like, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, I am the most miserable whitetail hunter to sit in the woods right now, because my wife is right. This deer has become my idol. And I sat out there in that stand and I cried, and I prayed and I cried, and I gave everything that I've ever tried to do with this deer. I gave everything to God. I said, God, I'm not going to stop hunting this deer, but I give this to you, because I have done everything I can do, and obviously I'm human, and I cannot do this without you. And that has been proven over and over again, because every time that I felt so confident I was going to kill that deer, you made him move somewhere else. He went somewhere else. And so that night I gave everything to God. I came home, told my wife, I don't care if I kill this deer, and I don't care if I kill another white-tailed deer in my life. My joy is with God. And she's like, well, that's great news.
Yeah.
Let's see how long it lasts.
She's calling your bluff.
Right.
Do you remember like what clicked to make you kind of go down that thought process?
I don't. I'll be honest with you. I don't remember. I just remember how defeated I was, and thinking, we started this project as a passion project and as a mission, right? Like I'm supposed to be a living example of what a Christian is supposed to do, right? And here I am out here, I'm a hypocrite at this point, because this is supposed to be fun,
right.
And I'm supposed to live by faith and let, put God in everything. That's what I'm saying. Like I literally at that moment, I felt like I told God in my prayer, like, I'm giving every detail of this to you, because, I want you in it. That's the most important thing, is I want you in it. So I'm giving every detail of this to you. And, I slept good that night. I slept good. I continued reading the Bible, and, at that point, I didn't think I was going to kill him. Honestly, I thought that, I'd made my peace, and, it is what it is, and somebody else is probably going to kill him, and we're going to move on. And, a couple days later, I forget the exact dates, but, he showed up. And I thought he was dead. Where he was staying at, where I couldn't hunt, the last day of gun season, I heard a shot, and like every whitetail hunter,
There,
he's
dead.
dead. He's dead.
Yeah.
So then the next day he shows up, or next couple of days he shows up back up on camera. I'm like, okay, well, he's still alive. There's still a chance. So like I'd made the promise to God, I'm not going to stop hunting him as long as I know that he's still alive. He very, very seldom, if ever, showed up in the mornings, ever. And then, the day I killed him, it was December 13th, and that morning he daylighted. And I'm just like, it's been a week, buddy, where you been?
Yeah.
And so I prayed about it. that night I had, I have a lot of different companies that I run. I have a company Christmas party, 120 people coming to a company Christmas party. Like, how am I going to be able to go hunt tonight, right?
Right.
And then there's this darn blizzard coming, right? And so it's blowing and snowing, and
It was nasty.
it was nasty.
Yeah.
And I told my wife, I said, I'm gonna go kill him tonight.
He said, "Honey, you're in charge of the Christmas party."
And so that's exactly what happened. I'm gonna let Dylan touch on this a little bit, but I think this shows what happened in that blind that night shows the how human we are with our faith and trusting God, because Dylan told me this story afterwards.
Yeah. It's deep.
That's
And-
what we're here for.
I think I told you guys on the last podcast that I'm now pastoring.
Mm-hmm.
And so, when Daniel, and I guess the main thing here is like, I hope that what I'm about to say maybe encourages followers of Christ is I can be really hard on myself. I think we all can. And, this walk with Jesus, it's something I don't want to sound cliche, but we're always searching to go deeper and deeper and deeper. And, like we were just talking, he was telling me on the way to Cleveland today, like, I'm coming up on day 90. I was like, man, I kind of forgot about that. Good job. Not to say that I'm not in the Word, because I am, because I'm always constantly prepping sermons and stuff. But I just feel like, and we talked, like, how challenging the Old Testament can be to understand, and I don't know where I was going with that exactly, but
what I want.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Okay.
Because it's coming up to it.
You got to build up to it.
Yeah, when you said you felt like a hypocrite, Daniel, man, I feel like that all the time. Like, even how I'm like how I live my life now compared to how I lived 7 years ago. Oh my gosh, you would have thought I was the devil himself.
Trust
7
me,
years
we
ago.
all have our past,
Yeah, I know, but it's like, and maybe this is, it's definitely a flaw of mine that there's a lot of times where I'm really hard on myself and I really feel like, man, I'm such a hypocrite. But there's no coincidence, because right now I preach chapter by chapter at my church, and I'm in the heart of Romans right now, where that is like supposed to be the most humbling part of the Bible, in my opinion, where you just learn, like, man, I really am just like a dirty, rotten sinner, and just how good God's grace is, right? And so I'm not really, like, I know at this point that Daniel is flustered with this deer, like, and trust, and I can relate, because we, like, you can lie through your teeth. We, like, if you take hunting serious, we have all been there, like where we are sitting in the tree, mad and miserable. And this is where the idol video comes into play a little bit later. But I'm not fully grasping the weight that he's carrying, and especially like how my friend's faith is about to be doubled, maybe. Like, when I met Daniel, I could see, like, Daniel has a great heart. He's a great man, but we know that being good is not good enough. And so we go in the blind that evening, and he had told me a little bit. He's like, I feel like I've made this deer an idol. And so just kind of thinking on that, and we get in that blind, and I love hunting in the snow, and it is, I mean, it's dumping snow, and we're out in the middle of a field. And it's probably literally 30 mile an hour winds. I mean, once we got in the truck that night, man, the roads were a disaster.
Yeah.
I mean, it was awful. And so we're sitting there, and 7 or 8 does probably, waiting until like that last 30 minutes,
Yep.
they come running out of the woods like they're just starving to death, and they come in and feed, and time is just chugging along. The does meander and go back into the woods, and we're just kind of sitting there. We've already talked about everything that we could probably talk about. And it was freezing cold, and I just remember like kind of burying my head down in my jacket like that, and I prayed, and I was like, God, like, if you could just make this happen for my friend. Like, he has tried so hard. And the passage in the Bible that kept coming to my mind was when John the Baptist said, I must become lesser, you must become greater, talking about Jesus. And I said, God, we give all this to you. It feels so weird to me to pray for a deer. Like, that feels wrong.
No, I get it.
In a sense.
I understand.
And so I did that night, and I said, God, if you could make this happen, like, use us however you see fit. Like, there's zero ego aside. I've had so many pride issues in my own life where, like, I had to recognize, like, I've been prideful, like we all have. But I was like, God, there's literally zero ego in this. Like, use us any way possible. Like, we want to glorify your name in this video. I know that the content that Daniel has gotten up to this point, this rut hunting video, and like, it's going to make a killer episode. Like, I'm praying all this, and I get done, and guys, I'm not even kidding. Like, he just like, it could have been audible. It wasn't, but it could have been audible. It was so clear that it was like, it's gonna happen tonight. And I was looking, and the wind's blowing from my right to the left hard. And I'm like, well, he's not coming from over there, because he's going to smell us. And I looked over there, and it's like, God was like, yeah, right there. And I wanted with every ounce of my body to go to look over at Daniel and say, dude,
Here it comes.
God said it's going to happen tonight. And I was scared to be wrong. Like, I didn't want to tarnish God's name by being wrong, or like, was this just my conscience speaking to me, or so wrong on me. But dude, I'm not even kidding. Like, maybe 5 minutes, if that, he literally came from where God was telling me that's where he's coming from. I'm sitting there, and Daniel goes, dude, there he is. And I look, and I was like, holy crap.
Yeah.
Like, I wish I would have told him. And so, we got just the coolest footage ever of him running in, the snow flying. It's all in slow-mo, and he's got snow caked all over him. He shakes it off in slow-mo. And now I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Yeah, so, I've never killed, this is a hot take, right? Put this on your reel. I've never killed a big buck with a compound bow. I didn't grow up shooting compound bows. I shoot a raven. I shoot a crossbow. I wanted so bad the past 2 years to kill a big buck with a compound bow. And I maybe that's an idol too. I don't know, but I just, I don't care what people say about crossbows. It's legal. I did everything legal. My strategy might have been a little bit different if it wasn't, but it's maybe a pride thing where I wanted so bad to kill this buck with a compound bow. And then I put myself in that position where I couldn't get close to where he was. To set up for a compound bow kill. So, I killed him with a crossbow. So, I shoot that crossbow, 100 yards, and I'm hitting pie plates at 100 yards all day long. So I'm feeling confident, so confident that, before we go hunting, I shoot at 70 yards because I know that's my distance. And so, like, I shoot 3 arrows and just, group them like that at 70 yards. And I'm like, this is easy. Well, I honestly, I never even thought about, and it's my fault. I'll own it. I never thought about the wind coming across that field at 30 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
And it was just not even a thought.
Yeah.
So like we're sitting there and it goes, my emotions are all over the place, right? Because finally I get an opportunity to shoot at this deer.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm shaking. Dylan's trying to keep me calm. Like I'm almost hyperventilating at this point. This is a season that was supposed to end, in my mind, was going to end opening day, right? So,
And now you're hunting in the snow.
right. So like he comes up, and I feel 100% confident that, I'm just going to poke him right through the heart and we're done. And so, everything's good. I pull the trigger and all I see is the lighted knock. You can see it better in the video, obviously, because it's zoomed in, but all I see is this lighted knock drifting.
Yeah.
And my heart sank. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, I thought I missed him. It was obviously a neck jugular shot, but like I literally thought I missed him. And then as soon as he turned, Dylan's like, I think I saw blood. And I'm like, I think I missed him. Like he's just running hardcore. And like he runs up, what was it, 50, 60 yards probably. And Dylan's like, oh, I think he's staggering. I think he's going. And I'm like, no way. Did I hit him?
Because you like kind of looked away like a this type move.
Like in disgust or
I can't believe that just happened. And I'm like, dude, he's going down. Like I can see, like I'm looking in the viewfinder on the camera. I'm not looking with my eyes.
Because when the bolt went through him, you see the blood.
Right, but I didn't see that.
spray
He saw it.
And I like, I don't want to be like blood everywhere at first and like get him hyped. But I'm like, but then when he turns, like you can just see spray. And then the whole 50-yard trek, he's just, every step he takes, you can tell every time his heart pumps, it's just spraying. And so then I'm like, he's going down, Daniel, and he lost it. I mean,
dude, I cried.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
Like the emotion of the whole season came out in that moment. Like I just, I didn't even know what to do. It was like, the outcome was completely different than what I envisioned, right? I envisioned me sitting in a tree stand with my, compound bow, flinging an arrow at, 20, 30 yards, and that's how it's going to go. But here we are 70 yards with a crossbow with, a 30-mile-per-hour wind in a blizzard.
In a blizzard, yeah.
And I think I missed him. Like the emotions of that, like the excitement of him coming in.
You went up and then you went down.
Yeah.
And then
you went back
up.
Yeah.
Like it was just, it was incredible. So, it was truly, I called deuces, to my friends and families. I tell them that's my Jesus deer, because I experienced Jesus and God's love and guidance through that deer. Like I became closer. I have a better relationship because of that deer. And it's like I said, it's not what I envisioned, but it's at the end of the day, it's what God gave me.
Well,
so,
and if you think about it, that could have been his plan the whole time, right?
Right.
Like in your mind, you were going to shoot him the opening day in the evening, and you would have been happy for it, and you would have, thank God and stuff. But would you have had the relationship you do with him now? Going through the hard times and everything else, and you challenging him to read the Bible in 90 days. I'm sure all of that plays a factor in that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
No,
but
it's sorry to cut you off, but I feel like God has to get you to a point of your lowest of lows sometimes before you'll actually listen to him.
Yeah.
Because if he constantly, like some of my friends I've kind of talked about this publicly about how I feel like I've killed 7 bucks in the last 2 years. And I've talked about it openly that I feel like there was a change in my life 2 years ago where like I kind of did what you did, just gave it all to him and was like, hey, But there was a point in my life before that where, I mean, I missed my wife's birthday. Like I missed family events. Like I'm going hunting. Like I don't talk to me during hunting season. And like there was a point in my life where, and maybe we'll get into it later, but God slapped me in the mouth. And I had one of those moments that you had, except mine was a lot worse. He told me clear as day that I can take it away from you as fast as I can give it to you. And that was one of the most challenging, frustrating seasons that I've ever had. But to wrap it up to my point, I was at the lowest of lows. And I thought that, like, you know, why God, why God, why God, why God? But then obviously he was trying to teach me something. And I didn't listen, because if I would have just been successful, I wouldn't have listened. And same thing with like what Kevin was saying with your deer. If you would have killed him opening day, you wouldn't have had that experience.
And I think, you know, God works everything for the good for him and for the people that love him. And you know what
Romans
blows
8:28.
What blows me away.
Hold on. For God works for the good of those who love him, who are called according to his purpose. That's one of my favorite verses.
That's right. What blows me away, really the cherry on top is, you know, this is my first ever released video of a hunt. I have zero expectations because I'm not in this world of views and YouTube and all of that. I believe today my video sits at 149,000 views.
Well, I actually that's so weird. 'Cause I have it pulled up because I wanted. This was like the hey, that prayer in the blind. God, use us, Daniel. And you know, when you say 149,000 views, obviously it's a lot of views. But for a channel that just started in July, that's exceptional. But dude, your video's been watched almost 30,000 hours. Like that's insane to me. Like, and people really got to hear like the meat of like such an awesome faith story, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'll say again what I said earlier. If you want God to take care of everything, you have to put God into everything.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
That's my story.
I love the story. I love it. I give you a lot of props for talking about it openly. And yeah.
People don't get to see all that in a 36-minute you know, video. So yeah,
well, it's hard to pour a whole season into something like that, you know?
Yeah.
What did he end up going, just for the listeners?
175 and 6/8.
So 175 incher. Congratulations. Is that your biggest? Or
It is.
Yeah.
Congrats.
It is.
Congrats. All
Thank
right.
you.
Dylan, if you we are, I mean, you know, these podcasts always go by so fast. We are almost at an hour.
Oh, wow.
If you want to give a 10-minute, 20-minute of your kill this year, that'd be fine.
And then we can get into
I was kind of really wanting to get into that, like idolizing. Yeah.
So I killed a deer that I called Wrench this year. I named him Wrench because he just seemed to throw a wrench in every single plan that I had. And so I first found this deer in 2022 down in a creek bottom on a really small permission piece that I had, and got a picture of him. And I guesstimated him to be a 3.5-year-old, and I figured he was, you know, not a giant frame deer, but he just had so much going on that
Potential.
he probably would have grossed, honestly, at 3 years old. Everybody that I shared it with thought maybe 180, 190-inch 3-year-old.
When you were talking about him at first, I was like, 130 maybe. Yeah.
No, the picture's actually, if you guys watch the video, he's down in that creek bottom. And I could be completely wrong. I mean, but he had too much stuff going on it was going to add up. You know, I feel pretty comfortable saying he was at least 180 inches at 3 years old, at least.
Yeah.
And so, at that point, you could write 3.5 on his gravestone. I was gonna kill him if I could get on him, because that would have been the biggest deer I'd ever killed. And so, that just didn't happen. You know, that's where he got his name. He threw a wrench in my plan that year. I ended up killing a different deer. And so the main objective, or I said 22, that was 23, sorry. The main objective in 24 was let's find Wrench.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if he lived, because I kept that camera down in that creek bottom. He was there in September, completely disappeared. The camera died but kept taking pictures. And so I pulled it late that year and popped the SD card in, and there he was in February. And the landowner sent me some pictures of him as well. He doesn't hunt or anything, but sent me pictures. I was like, oh, man, like he made it past season. This is great. So the main objective moving into 24 was let's find Wrench. And so I love velvet scouting, live in such a great place to do that. And so most of my summer evenings are spent driving around with my wife. And Ohio summer evenings are hard to beat.
Yeah.
Ice cream cone. And
Yeah. Oh, yeah, dude. We'll get a pizza and drive around and eat pizza and glass deer. It's the best.
Yeah.
And so that was the main objective in 24, and we found him right out the rip, June 9th. I think it was my first night glassing. I found him on June 9th, 2024.
Pretty close to where you were hunting him, or
Yeah.
a couple miles away?
Yep, just right down the road.
Cool.
Yeah, quarter mile of that. And June 9th, I bet he was 170 inches on June 9th. Like, just huge.
Insane.
And I glassed him maybe 3 or 4 evenings right after that. So like the 10th, 11th, 12th, roughly.
Mm-hmm.
And then he kind of disappeared. I was going and glassing some other deer, and I was like, I'll come back and check on him. And I did. I came back, and I found him on June 30th. And I bet he was 240 inches. I saw him at 100 yards. And that's one thing that is like, I love about hunting is how ingrained in our memory these moments can get. That's something, guys, I think I could get Alzheimer's eventually and never forget. Like,
Yeah.
It was, I don't know, like Daniel talking about hyperventilating, dude. Like, I couldn't even breathe glassing this deer. He just looked like, oh my gosh, I'm picturing it right now, getting excited. He just looked like a completely different species, just stuff going everywhere, gigantic frame. He's in the video. I don't know if you guys watched it, but just like, holy cow. And so I saw him, and then nothing. I couldn't glass him anymore after that. Couldn't find him. That same creek bottom had a camera down there and got a picture of him in August. And so I'm completely set up in that creek bottom, just ready. And he never shows. And I got some permission spots around that area, put a awesome food plot in this one spot, and my wife's deer that I was talking about was frequent in there, and he just kind of had that bully mentality, big body, and I said, let's get that deer out of here and see if Wrench shows up. Or else I wouldn't have let her shoot 165 inches.
I was kind of wondering, like
Mainframe 8.
Yeah.
So she shoots him on opening day, and I'm like, all right, like, come on over. And he just never shows up. One picture in August, and that is it. And I'm like, daggone it. Well, I'm going to Kentucky. It was shaping up to be a year that I'll never top. I had a 200-plus inch down in Kentucky I was hunting. And ended up hitting that one high and losing that deer. And then Wrench never shows up. So it went from like, I thought this was going to be like the greatest hunting season of my life to this sucks. I ate tag soup in 24 because I was just all in for that deer.
I don't blame you.
Do you think he got a lot of road pressure from people finding him, and like maybe that pushed him away?
I ran it, and I tell this story often because people want to whine and complain about access and all this, but when I'm out glassing, and like I told you guys, like I'm literally glassing at least every other night. I see one person a year, maybe one other person glassing. That's
Really?
it. Like. So I guess.
I think that's, not to interrupt, I think that's, I don't want to be rude, but I think that's the pocket that you're in, because like around here, 10, 15, 20 guys you'll run into?
Oh, really?
It's a lot.
Huh. I mean, I'm spreading across a couple counties, but I do feel like this area is different, and I don't want to go down a rabbit hole.
Right.
No,
I'm just saying, like, literally, one person, but guess where the one person was? He was glassing that deer.
Yeah.
And so anyway, he completely disappears in 24. And I'm like, what in the world? Like, just dumbfounded. I'm like, the deer's so big, you would think that if someone killed him, you're gonna know about it.
Oh, you would know about it. Yeah.
And that year in 24, we had the worst EHD breakout in that area that I've ever seen. So either, a million things start going through your mind. The deer was poached, EHD, or hit by a car, like something. And so 25 rolls around last year, and main objective again, let's find wrench. And so driving that road where, I've seen him the past 2 years, nothing. And I mean, I'm like desperate to find this deer, like just pounding pavement. And I kind of have like a dry sense of humor, but I told my wife, I was like, he's dead. Like, it was always like a joke. But on July 3rd, 25, I turned to her and I was like, he's dead. Like, he's nowhere. Like, I have looked
exhausted
everywhere.
my resources.
He's officially dead.
Yeah, like, all right, he's really dead. Because this whole time she's like, you're going to kill him. Like, I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
Quit believing in me so much. And so we turned the corner, and 10 minutes after that, man, we're probably a mile away from where I've been seeing him. We zip past this field, and there's an oil driveway where you can look into the bean field, and we zip past, and I just saw some deer bodies out there. Yeah, and I was like, all right, let's go see if it's him. I was joking around. I literally said that. We turn around, and I whip back up in that oil drive, and there is a giant out there. And I'm like, oh, my gosh. And I pull up the glass. I'm like, it's wrench. I'm like, wait, is it wrench? I don't know, because – and I know now it's not, but the deer looked so much like wrench. She had a lot of the same characteristics, but a lot smaller. One side looked a lot like wrench. The other side didn't. Like, so instantly I'm like, a million things are going through my mind.
Got injured. Yeah.
Injured. What, did he get sick from EHD and survive? Like, is it his offspring? All that was like rolling through my mind on top of excitement. And so glassed him several times out in that bean field, got some of the most incredible velvet footage of my life of that deer. At one point, I'm sitting at an oil tank filming him, so I don't know if he's just used to traffic. It wasn't an urban deer, but I don't know if he was just used to the oil guys there. But one evening, he was literally 20 yards from my truck. Like,
just not a care in the world.
No.
He's got 30-acre bean field to go, graze in, and
he's within 20 yards of you.
Yeah.
And dude, it was so cool. Like, and I said it in 24. I turned to my wife when he was 240. I was like, if I don't kill him, I'm fine with it. Like, this was a once in a lifetime experience for me. And then I pretty much said the same thing there. Like, obviously I want to kill him, but I'm like, this is good enough. Like, I'm such a velvet nerd to where I was like, I was satisfied. This was awesome. And so he's frequent in that bean field, and there were a couple guys there glassing. So the deer was definitely known. And I thought to myself, if I can get permission on this bean field, there's a tree line in the back. If I can get permission on this bean field and the beans stay green, which they were planted late, I feel like I can kill this deer here. And my mentality is always, let's get as much permission in the area as possible. Like, let's have backup plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, and we go all the way to Z. I'll get as many as I can. And so that's always been like, that's changed my game a lot for me. But anyway, I got a permission across the street where this creek bottom is running. And so he lives in this woods. The creek runs under the road with a bridge and goes into this other creek bottom. I'm like, well, he's definitely got to be using that. So I get permission there. 2 days later, maybe, he's on camera over there. I'm like, oh, man. Bean fields across the street. So I'm like trying to get this bean field permission. Landowner doesn't live there. The husband died. It was in his name. And, just that whole mess. Finally track track her down. She gives me permission. I'm like, now it's starting to feel real.
Okay, hold on, rewind. You got to.
You said 10 minutes. I'm trying to.
No. What's the secret to getting this permission? Because maybe it's the area, and I don't want to. Let's not spot burn. But man, I feel like maybe I'm just a negative Nancy, but I feel like around us,
you're just not good looking
maybe
enough.
I'm not a good talker.
Hey,
easy, because we kind of look alike.
You know, he's the greatest salesman there ever was.
Well, after air, we're gonna get your secrets.
Listen,
I'm the Amish guy, and he convinced me to film this.
listen, and he hired me.
This is true.
Yeah, I was just on Tyler's property, Land and Legacy, and he said the same thing. He was like, "What's the secret sauce?" And I'm like, "Dude, I don't know what the secret sauce is. Even when I was a piece of crap, I always had a heart for people. I feel like God gave me the ability just to be friendly and talk to people. Like I felt like He's blessed me verbally. That sounds weird, but
I understand what you're saying.
I have a knack for talking to people, I guess, and you know, like the conversation that I had with that landowner that owned the creek bottom, I knock on her door, introduce myself. I say, hey, there's a really big deer in the area. I've watched him for years. I drove all over God's green earth trying to find him, and I'm pretty sure he's using your creek bottom. How do you feel about me bow hunting? Like, there was no secret sauce there.
That's all you said.
Yeah. You know, I smiled more. But, yeah.
Here's a $20 bill.
No,
here's a $100 bill.
No money. She goes, nobody's ever asked me. And that property really surprised me that nobody asked her, because her property literally butts into this unhunted stuff that nobody can hunt.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
like, why would nobody ever?
Yeah, even
Dude, one day I'm going to stumble across something like that. I do a lot of door knocking myself. I've kind of gotten discouraged. My wife and I bought 30 acres, 2 years ago. So I've been kind of focusing on that. But one day, I guess what I'm getting at is, I would do 100, 200 doors a year. And I just got to maybe spread my wings, because I feel like, and I know this is a soap opera, but like, I feel like around us, man, oh my gosh. Don't you feel the same way, Kev?
I would say there's maybe
do you feel like there's a gem somewhere that somebody hasn't knocked on around us?
No.
I mean, surely there has to be, but I'm saying, like, it just feels so different.
Probably not. There's spots, you know, where we live where I totally just stop knocking.
Yeah.
Because it's, you know, like out here, you know, maybe a little, an area where there's more people. Again, not urban, but
No, I get what you're saying.
where I was this year, there was more people, smaller pieces.
Just overlook stuff.
Yeah, just overlooked stuff. That one really surprised me, though, that nobody hunted that piece, because it's, you know, it's good.
Well, I mean, it is right beside a really busy highway, so like most people would probably look at that and
just
say,
write it off and I'm not worth my time, maybe.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know, but to me it was like, man, if I can get that piece in that bean field, it's done.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not very smart, but anyway, so I get that piece. The other piece where I had to track that one down, that one was a lot more difficult. I had to go to her work, and
What was your spiel on that one?
well, I finally reached her on the phone after literally months, and
Of trying?
I had to call her at her work, which
It's like, what line is crossable?
Well, that was definitely crossing the line.
Yeah.
And I felt like it was probably going to be a no, but what's the worst she can say? No.
Yeah.
You already don't have permission on it.
Yeah, I don't have permission, and I feel like I can kill him there. I'm going to try.
Yeah.
And so she was very nice, and I drove down to her work with permission slips, and, you know, that was it. So she gave me permission. And so now I've got like 2 giant pieces of the puzzle here, and I'm getting him on camera like clockwork. And opening day comes around. The night before opening day, he daylights out in that bean field. Me and Daniel already have a set. It actually butts in that tree line that I was hunting is 25 yards off of a bike trail. And so a public bike trail. Again, it's not, when I say that, people are going to think urban. It's not. It's out in the country.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know if you guys have those out here.
We do.
We've got one around
Okay.
here. Yeah.
Yeah,
They're more for the Amish, though, to be honest.
they usually run along like creeks or old railroads.
This was an old railroad by us.
That's
yeah.
what this is.
Yeah.
And so, there were times in Velvet where I actually posted a reel one time, but I was filming Wrench, and I didn't know the bike trail was back there at first. And I'm filming Wrench, and all of a sudden a dude zips by on a bicycle behind him, and Wrench goes like this and looks and just goes back to eating. And so it was like light bulb. I was like, that's how we're going to access it.
Yeah.
So we did. We biked in on that bike trail and hopped right in our stand. It was money. And night before opening day, he daylights. So we go out there on opening day, and deer are just funneling out of this CRP type grass out in the beans eating. And all of a sudden he steps out, perfect daylight, money footage, and he's coming right in. Opening day, and he gets probably 80 yards from us, and then we hear, and it was like an e-bike on the trail behind us, and the whole field clears. And it was a bummer, obviously, but we felt pretty, he's used to bikes, and he gets bumped all the time. From there on, man, it was different. The bean started turning. The bean field became completely unproductive. I went. My second encounter was October 23rd. It was a cold front that day, and I was in the creek bottom, and I was thinking he was going to have to use this. I don't want to get too far in the details.
No, you're all right.
But I was thinking he was going to be forced down in this creek, coming out of this unhunted stuff. It's a bridge, so it's almost like this. This pinch, man-made pinch from a bridge. And I'm thinking I can hunt this on a north wind. I'm up on top of this ridge. I can hunt this on a north, or I can hunt this on a west with the west wind blowing towards the landowner's house. So I'm like, it's perfect, especially if he gets down to that bottom. Just obviously it's got to be a good wind so it's not swirling down in there. But I'm thinking it's money. And I get up on that ridge, and I'm probably 80 to 100 yards from the landowner's house, which is to my right, which is the east. So this whole property is east access, which is it's awesome.
Yeah, money, yeah.
And with that house being so close, I'm like, he's not going to get in between me and their house. Well, October 23rd, he did. I look up on the ridge, which is the last place I thought he'd be coming from, and he did. He got right in between me and the landowner's house, and stops downwind of me with all this stuff in the way. I can't shoot him, and looks at me. My wind's blowing right at him, and he just turns around and walks right back, and he goes missing for a week. I'm like, daggone it. Like, that's the last thing I thought you were going to do. So a week goes by. I don't see him, and I think it was October 31st. Was that a thing this year, the 31st?
That'd be Halloween.
Yeah.
Okay, so, the 31st, I get a picture of him down in that creek bottom after a week of missing, and I can tell that he came down off that ridge again, and he's going down into the creek bottom, and it's daylight on that picture. I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, like, because, down in the dumps. And so November 1st was supposed to be pretty dang good, and so I thought, I'm going to pull that stand off the ridge. I'm going to move 70 yards back towards the house, which feels ridiculous. But if he goes to scent check that stand, like, he's in trouble. And so when I get there that day, the landowners are out there splitting firewood, running chainsaws. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, whatever. I go pull the stand, and I'm like, it's going to be a great spot in the rut. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I'm here. I might as well move it now.
Yeah. So I do. I hang it in this walnut with a split, and I hang on the back side of it. So I'm facing their driveway, but I can just turn around and, like, great concealment, like shoot right through the split. And I remember that day I was sweating and just kind of flustered that they're in there. I'm like, man, he's been missing for a week. Now they're in here splitting firewood. Like, he ain't going to show up, whining. And I forgot something in my truck, had to climb down, that is the worst.
His bow.
Yeah. It might have been. I don't know. Release, maybe. Who knows? But I can't remember what it was. But I remember getting down and just getting all flustered. And that's another point where I felt like this idle thing comes into play, was I felt like it was this was really letting my emotions get the best of me and control my emotions. And I remember walking back to the truck, and I'm like, Dylan, like, you'll get in the stand when God wants you to get in the stand. Like, I feel like I'm late, and I just said, just like talking to myself, like, just chill out, just trust God. So I do. I go and get in the stand, and, you know, I'm super close to their house. I'm super close to the state route. Like, cars are whizzing by me at 40 yards away. And their chickens have now fed out underneath my tree stand. I'm watching chickens scratch below me. I'm like, this is stupid. Like, this is maybe the dumbest setup you've had. So I'm sitting there filming chickens, and that didn't make the cut. But I rattled as soon as the traffic chilled out and got quiet. I rattled, and probably 10 minutes after that, I looked to my right, and I'm like, holy crap, there he is, 40 yards. And he was doing exactly that. He had to have busted me before the 23rd, and I never knew it because what he was doing just wasn't making sense unless he knew I was hunting him. And so...
Isn't it amazing how intelligent they are? Like, guys don't give them enough credit.
No. And he made, like, I felt, like, really proud of myself, like, figuring that out. I was like, that's pretty cool. But, yeah, when he went to go check that stand, man, he just kept on going the exact same path that he busted me on the 23rd, and he ended up 24 yards broadside. Shot him right through the heart, and he went 10 yards. Yeah. Like, it was
couldn't have been any better.
So awesome, man. So cool. Yeah, but so turns out that when he went missing for a week, when I was field dressing him in the barn, people gave me so much crap about that. That's stupid. we were cutting him up in the barn, and I actually found a broadhead inside of his shoulder. I had noticed that he had a wound, and I was like, man, I don't know, I can't tell if that's an arrow or horn or what. Well, when I cut him open, he had probably 4 inches of shaft in him, and a beast broadhead.
Beast.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not to like name drop. I
Right.
mean,
No, I was
Right.
just,
if anybody would have shot
you.
him where they did, like, I don't care what broadhead it is, you're in trouble.
High
with that
shoulder,
shot.
or what was it?
Yeah, it was just right in the middle of the shoulder. I mean, and so cut him open, find that shaft in there. I end up the guy ends up calling me, the guy that shot him. He saw it, and he told me the whole story, and that's why he was missing for a week. And we weighed him, and he weighed 150 pounds.
Oh,
and I was like, oh, man.
That was before field dress.
Yeah,
Before.
that was with guts, and I felt like I just killed a freaking baby.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, I was upset. And I'm like, this deer's 3, like, at best. And he's so that, like, really depressed me. But we ended up getting him aged. He was 4.5, still not as old as I was hoping, but at least he wasn't like a 2-year-old. But 150 pounds freaked me out, and it must have been because he
Infection
just
or
laid up
something,
for a week and didn't move. Because when I cut that shoulder out, man, he was all yellow.
Pus,
like,
yeah.
He I assume he probably would have died, maybe, but. Man, in the video, you would have never guessed that he was shot a week ago. I mean, he walked in just fine. It was crazy. But,
It's amazing how.
and all right,
Go ahead.
one more thing.
Go ahead.
With him being 4.5 tells me that is not the wrench that I was after. But it has to be his offspring. I mean,
Yeah, same
If the
genetics.
characteristics are
Yeah.
so similar. Yeah.
crazy.
What did he end up going?
175, which
175.
yeah. In Velvet, if you guys have seen that, man, he had me fooled. Like, I thought he was.
You know how it is in Velvet. They always look.
I know, but I mean, I'm even thinking, like, because trust me, I've been fooled plenty of times by Velvet. I mean, I'm thinking everybody that I'm running this past, like, we're thinking outside Velvet, this deer's got to be 190. I was thinking, but I was wrong. What hurt him was mass and tine length. Score's irrelevant, really.
Yeah, but
Right.
I mean, I'm not passing a 175. So.
and I'm not either. I don't want to, like, sound ungrateful, but the deer really had me fooled. I was thinking 90s all day, but crazy.
Well,
But,
congrats.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like God definitely had a hand in both of your guys' seasons because
Absolutely.
Yeah, 2 175s is pretty impressive.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome, man. It was awesome. But yeah, so you want to get into the idol,
Yes.
the search for more.
Yes.
Well, we don't want to eat up too much of your time. I want to get into
No.
it, but you guys got to drive home yet too. So
We're good.
just tell me if it gets to the point where you're like, hey, we got to get going. Like,
No, we're good.
yeah,
We're good.
We want to further the kingdom. I mean, like Born Again Bow Hunting Podcast for us is a no-brainer because you guys align with us
We
perfectly, and you know, like that's the main mission is let's further the kingdom. So
We appreciate it.
yeah. So both of our hunts is kind of like what birthed that series or that video idea. Obviously the idol one spoke to both of us. You know, there's been so many times we can all speak to this, I'm sure, that we've definitely made deer hunting an idol. Like I think all of us sitting at this table can say, yeah, we're
I
guilty.
can raise my hand.
But it's amazing, like, you know, the more you dive into a topic like that you realize that, man, everybody's really guilty of this. Like, you know, it can be with your cell phone, it can be with social media, it can be with your job, it can be with money, it can be with your kids. You can make your kids your idol.
Your
actually.
spouse.
You can make your spouse your idol.
Yeah.
Your girlfriend. Like we see young guys all the time, you know, that are. Heck, there was a kid in our county that unfortunately committed suicide because him and his girlfriend broke up. Young kid, like that's idolizing. And so I'm really glad that video idea came to me because you know, it made me dive into it and have a deeper realization of what idolizing really is. And I guess like, and you guys feel free to pitch in here, Daniel or Kevin or Matt, any of us, of like, how do we define what idolizing something is? I just want to tell you guys what I think first, and then you guys can all add in. Idolizing is something that can control your emotions. It can, you know, like you had mentioned, waking up at 2 a.m. and checking your
squinting. And checking.
or you know, even just the first thing when you wake up in the morning, what has your heart? As soon as you wake up, what has your heart? What has your attention? And is it something that is controlling your emotions? Is it making you angry? Here's a big one. And this one is really hard to swallow. Does a big deer make you feel more alive than worship? Oof, that's a hard one.
Yeah,
That's a big one.
Yeah.
FYI for the listeners, this background noise that we're hearing, it's not in the podcast. So I just want, because I'm sure you guys can hear that buzzing.
I don't hear nothing.
Do you not hear it?
I hear it.
Yeah.
I hear a little bit.
So like,
Sometimes the headset
we
wiring.
don't have. Maybe move your phone real quick because it's driving me nuts. Like sometimes, like the static from like if you get a notification or something, and it stopped. Okay, good.
Oh, okay, it's my phone.
Yeah. So
imagine what that's doing to my organs.
Yeah, seriously. But that won't come into the audio. It
Right.
only comes up here. But yeah, sorry, I had to.
No, you're.
It was driving me nuts. But yeah, to go back on your question, you know, how powerful is that to think about that?
No,
you know?
it's humbling. Like that should be your only response to like getting this news. It's not, you know, you shouldn't walk away from this. And I actually just preached on this the other day, not that particular piece, but Paul piggybacks, I think, in Romans 12, a lot of Jesus' Sermon on the Mount. And when you hear Jesus speak the Sermon on the Mount, or you hear Paul bring up a lot of the same principles, the last thing that we do when we read that should be, anyway, the last thing that we should feel when we read that or hear that is, oh man, I've got it all figured out. No, your real response is like, man, grace is good and I really need a savior. It should be your only response when you hear the Sermon on the Mount. Like, dude, it pierces my heart when Jesus says, you have heard it said that you shall not murder, but I tell you, anybody that is angry with a brother or sister has already committed murder in their heart. Like, oh my gosh, man, people make me mad all the time.
Yeah, it's a real gut check.
Yeah, it's it's a high standard that is only accomplished through Jesus. Mm-hmm. And so it's the same thing when you hear about idolatry.
Same. That was what was going on.
It's almost an impossible standard to not idolize things as humans. Mm-hmm. It's a high standard, but it points to our drastic need for Christ and the need for his mercy and the need for his grace, because I am not capable.
Yeah, none of us are. Yeah. Now, I find the idol conversation is extremely difficult for me sometimes to understand, because, and we've had some pastors on from Kevin's church, and we kind of covered a little bit. This was one of the questions, like, how do I know when too far is too far? And one of the points that was brought up is like, God created emotion, God created happiness, God created your desires, God created you to be good at something. Mm-hmm. Like, he knows your wants. Mm-hmm. So as long as you can prioritize your wants with him first, I don't see. Go ahead.
And it was not putting that in front of everything else in your life.
And you're not idolizing that specific thing, then it can't be wrong. But as humans, what happens, like you were talking about with your buck, right. you as humans, we become so invested in something, or our wants become so much of a, the search for more, like you were saying earlier, you want more, and I think that's where you have to draw the line. And I think us sitting around this table, although we do struggle with it from time to time, we do have an understanding of how to get out of it. For anybody listening that maybe doesn't understand what we're getting at, is like, a lot of non-believers are probably struggling, thinking like, well, how can I just give God control and then things just fall into my lap? Well, I don't believe that things fall into your lap necessarily, but I believe that, like I talked about earlier, walking through the door with his blessing. If you have his blessing, oh my gosh, you can tackle the world. Mm-hmm. But if you're doing something that's 100% your want or 100% your will, like, you may still have success. There's a lot of people out there that are not Christians that are very successful people. But I'm not saying they had to work harder or more hard. Excuse me, they didn't have to work more than someone else. But what I'm getting at is, in the long run, our short window on this earth is a speck, right? Like, we don't even we can't even fathom eternity. Mm-hmm. I don't know where I was going with that. I like to ramble, but
the one thing with Dylan challenging me to read the Bible in 90 days, there's certain stories that I read that really spoke to me and really touched my heart. One of those is the story of Job. Mm-hmm. And Job was very successful. Job had many riches, had a family, had all these things, and all that was taken away from him by the devil. And Job stayed true to God, and God blessed him tenfold. Mm-hmm. It's like we want to be in control of so much, but is that God's will? Are we in control, or is God in control? Are we stewards of God? We're on this earth with earthly treasures, belongings. We say, this is mine, this is ours, but really it's all God's, and we're just stewards of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. When I was watching that video, Dylan, when you put that video out, I watched it again, I don't know, a couple days ago to kind of refresh my mind for this podcast. But one of the questions that you asked was like, if God asked you to quit hunting, basically, could you? And I was sitting in my man cave, and I've got a dozen deer hanging up there, and I'm looking at them. And at first, I was like, "Ooh, ooh, ooh, don't ask me that question." Then I started thinking, truly. And this is the God honest truth. Truly, I'm at a point in my life right now where I feel like if God smacked me in the mouth and said, "Matt, you're done. Like, I want you to go a different direction. I think that I could do it. Would I like that?
Yeah.
No. But, you know, it was a very humbling moment for me when I was rewatching that video, and I'm sitting there because at first I was like, no, I can't. No, why? Why would he give up? Why would I give up hunting? And
it's almost a question where you're like wanting to put your fingers in your ears so you don't hear it from God.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But then I sat there for a minute and I'm like, you know what? Even though this is one of my biggest passions, this is where I feel closest to God. If he closed that door, he's closed a lot of doors in my life. And it's like, and my life has only gotten better. And I had many more passions before hunting. I didn't start hunting until, I take that back. I grew up in a hunting family, but I didn't take it serious until I got out of college. So like, I had many more. I was a college athlete, built cars. Like, I idolized sports. I idolized the car that I built. And obviously my athletic career didn't turn out. I totaled my car. So the good Lord has closed all these doors that I thought was, you know, this is my passion. This is what I want more than anything. This is what I dream about. The good Lord has closed a lot of doors in my life. And, you know, with hunting, there's been some doors that have been closed, but there's also been some doors that have been opened. Especially with this podcast, I feel like we've grown so much in our faith, and I feel like our connections have grown. That, you know, I don't think that he would close that door on me, but, you know, for anybody listening, and I challenge you guys here, you know, if God says no more, like, sometimes we got to give it up.
Yeah. The reason that question arose was because I thought of the rich young ruler that came to Jesus, and he said, what do I have to do to inherit the kingdom of God or kingdom of heaven? I can't remember how he worded it. And Jesus said, well, I have no place to lay my head, and, you know, sell everything you got and
get rid of everything.
And he walked away sad, and he couldn't do it. And to me, that was like so heartbreaking. That's so heartbreaking to read that. Like, that's all he had to do, but he couldn't. So that's where the question arose, and obviously it pierces my own heart, you know, because I do love hunting so much. We're here talking about Jesus right now because of hunting.
Because of hunting, yeah.
And so, you know, I think it says in Romans 11 or 12, here I am again, I'm mixed up. I just preached on it, but, you know, Paul says, you know, if you've been gifted, we're all given gifts. If it's to prophesy, then prophesy the truth. If it's to teach, then teach. If it's to, what else does he say?
I can't remember off the top of my head.
If it's to prophesy, prophesy. If it's to teach, teach. It's just along those lines. Like, if it's to hunt.
Yeah, do what I basically, I don't know how to word it.
Open the door for you.
Yeah,
to do,
your talents.
Your gifts.
Yeah,
like, we're all. And
gifts,
what he was meaning by that in that passage was, like, in a church, and not just a church. Obviously, it goes for everything that we do. But he's talking about, like, the body of the church. Like, don't just look as, like, the pastor as the hero because he's up at the pulpit speaking. We all have gifts. And, you know, I brought up some of the gifts of the people that come to my church and what they're really good at and where they shine where I wouldn't be able to. Like, so that's kind of what he was meaning. But, you know, I definitely look at hunting as a gift that God has given me. And it is up to me whether I am utilizing that gift for a greater good. And fortunately, I feel like I have. Like, I feel like God has slowly given me this platform. Every door that is closed along the way has opened up newer, better opportunities.
It's always better.
Yeah, it's always better. Like, so, you know, if God did ask you to stop hunting, guess what? It's probably going to be better.
It's going to be better.
It's going to be better.
Amen.
And so yeah, that's where that idea came from. And there's still some more, you know, down the pipe. You know, we get comments pretty frequently. You know, God is going to curse you for killing that animal and all this. And, you know, the redneck in me says, God said, arise, kill, and eat. But I would love to get into that topic. You know, what does God think about hunting video? You know, let's get into that. But there's a lot of topics that we can go off of, but I want to do it strategically to where we're not losing our platform due to a weird
big man YouTube.
Yeah. So
no, I completely understand. One thing that maybe I could challenge you guys to do in the future that I've really grown in my faith with is I've bought, the last 2 seasons I've bought some devos, and I've read a devotional every hunt. So whether it's an AM or a PM hunt, like that is a hunt. So if I hunt all day, I have an AM devotional and a PM, etc. So not this last season, but the season before, killed 4 bucks, 4 different states. Within clockwork of me putting down my devo and truly, and I will say that like some hunts I would open my devo and I would just like get through it, like skim through it real fast. Like it's time to hunt. Like I don't have time for this devo. And I'll be honest, like I've said it before, like I didn't take it seriously. I just kind of skimmed through it. How can I apply it to my life? Yeah, whatever. And back to hunting. Well, I can tell you that 4, I can remember them like it was yesterday. There was 4 devotionals that I read where, man, it was my heart. I mean, God was speaking to me, and I'm sitting there reading, and heck, the one was my Ohio buck. It was half hour before legal light was up. Had some does come through and some small bucks, and I'm just like, it's probably not going to happen. Oh, crap, I forgot to read my devo. So most guys would be like, oh, I've got a half hour left, it's prime time. So I'm not patting myself on the back. It's a good story. So I pull the devo out of my backpack, and I open it up, and it's only a couple pages, so it only takes like 5 minutes to read. And I read my devo, and, it hit me hard, and I'm like, you know what, Lord, like, whatever it was, I can't remember exactly what the devo was, but I was like, you know what, you're right. Like, I need to work on that. And it's like, I wanted to kill that buck really bad, but like that message in that devo is more powerful, and that's more meaningful to me, and I thank you for that. I turn around, I'm reaching to put my devo in my backpack. Here he comes.
Wow.
It's at like 70 yards. Here he comes.
Yeah. Nothing surprises me from God.
Goosebumps, man.
It's the moments of humility where we see God shine the most in our lives, I think. Obviously the passage that sticks out to me the most all the time, and I'm constantly reminded, is that the exalted will be humbled and the humbled will be exalted. Mm-hmm. And Daniel's story of what happened this year is a perfect excuse. Daniel was humbled. Mm-hmm. My conversation that I had with God and me telling myself to chill out this year was a moment of humility. What happened down in Kentucky with that 200-inch deer, I was running ragged for that deer back and forth to Kentucky, exhausted, sleeping in my truck in a Walmart parking lot. And I remember, same deal, extremely frustrated, woke up and got out in the stand. It was going to be an all-day sit. And the creek down in the bottom had been bone dry the whole time I've been there. And this was such a humbling moment too. And I got there that morning and I heard this sound that I hadn't heard the whole time I've been hunting it. And that river down there literally went from rocks to just pouring, like rushing, mm-hmm. like rapids. I was like, holy cow. And I looked down at my phone, and the daily verse of the day was from Job. And it was a passage that said God, when he says to snow, it's a powerful snow. But the part that really stuck out was he tells the rain shower to be a mighty downpour in that moment. And it's like trickling rain. And it was just a moment of just humility. And same deal. Gave it to God. Hadn't ever seen that deer on the hoof, and he literally walked in that day. Unfortunately, I hit him high, mm-hmm. but it was, again, a moment of humility, and I had a 200-plus inch deer at 25 yards in front of me. Mm-hmm. Just, I don't know. There is one thing that I've really learned and grasped in the past 2 years is the power of humility.
Mm-hmm. Now, like I said earlier, when you're at your lowest of lows, I mean, I feel like that's, and even for somebody listening that, maybe is not saved, obviously we're talking to you guys. This is why we do this. We want you guys to make that leap, but, we've all had a past, right? Like we've talked about this. And what I'm getting at is when you're at your lowest of low, you may think that like, you were talking about being a hypocrite, right? Like people listening to this might think like, oh, I've done so many bad things in my life. Like, I can't be saved. Well, I can promise you, look at the thief on the cross next to Jesus,
Look at the one that changed my life was Paul.
Yep. Saul.
Yeah, Saul into Paul.
Yeah.
I mean, I read the Gospels, but then when I got to Acts and Romans, I was like, holy cow. Like, I feel like the chief of sinners too. Like, that is what changed my life was Paul, and I'm so thankful that God used Paul because what he wrote, like, saved me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and for anybody listening that maybe doesn't understand, we're talking about a man that his mission was to travel around and kill Christians and murder them, families, wives, children, etc. And then, God used him to write half the New Testament. So
yeah, he had on the road to Damascus to go hunt down more Christians and kill them. He had an encounter with Jesus that never left him the same. He was blinded and heard the voice of Christ say, "Saul, Saul, why do you persecute me?" And was baptized by a man named Ananias, who he saw in a dream, and Ananias saw Saul in a dream. Scales fell off of Paul's eyes, and he ended up writing over half the New Testament. Man, it's the most beautiful, powerful story I've ever read.
Amen.
Like,
yeah. So if you're listening and thinking that, like, like I'm sure there's some things that you've done that you're disappointed with yourself on, but I can promise you probably haven't chased around Christians and murdered them and their families.
Yeah.
Right.
And God used Saul, now Paul, but God used him to literally write half the Bible, like you were saying.
That's awesome.
Goosebumps, man.
Yeah.
Goosebumps.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Sorry, I'm drawing a blank on where to go next. I had something that I wanted to talk about, but I'm trying to remember what it was.
That's kind of like what the story of Paul does to you, though. It does leave you.
Yeah, because
wow.
I had something before we mentioned Paul, which is completely fine, but it was something along the lines of, it doesn't matter, it's gone now, but
it's gone.
It's not coming back.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's all right.
No, I do want to say thank you guys for putting out that kind of content and putting God first. A lot of people are probably afraid to do so, and I know that you got 2 subscribers here that appreciate it. So
absolutely,
we appreciate you guys, and to us, it's always been just like I said, it's like Daniel said, it started as a passion project. Like, we're going to carry the camera to the woods regardless because it's what we're passionate about. Actually, this was Daniel's first year truly filming, so you did a good job, bud. But
Thank
you. What started as a passion project, we saw God use mightily, and we hope and pray that he continues to use us. But as far as the gospel being in our video, it's non-negotiable for us, and thank you for thanking us. And there's a lot of people that thank us for it, but you don't have to thank us for it. Like, it's our duty, and it's our pleasure. Like, it's such good news. It's hard to keep hidden.
Yeah.
I am not the best role model. We were talking about how we're hard on ourselves. So obviously I'm a sinner. I make mistakes every day, and by God's grace, I'm saved. And something, I haven't even told you about this. I was going to call you, and then it just slipped my mind. Strangest thing. It's just story time. We're just story time right now. But it made me really appreciate the podcast, because I have grown significantly stronger in my faith because of this, because I have accountability to my right. And normally, there's other guys here, but I'm at work and I get a phone call, and I won't say names in case I know that they listen, but you'll know who I'm talking about when you listen to this, but I won't say names for respect. I get a phone call from a buddy, and he's like, I just want to let you know. And it's a weird ordeal. Like, I'm going to get goosebumps talking about it. He's like, I just want to let you know that you changed my life. And I've only known this gentleman for a couple of years, and me and another mutual friend of his have kind of sculpted him in a way. Didn't grow up in a Christian household, and we kind of got him on this path of, we kind of challenged him on this reading schedule. So he's been reading in the Bible and stuff like that. And recently he just had a child, and he's like, long story short, he's like, you just changed my life, my child's life, and my future family's life. And he goes, and I'm trying to like tell him, it's not me, it's God. Like, I was just pointing in the right direction. Mm-hmm. And he's like, no, you don't understand how much I appreciate that. And he's like, you changed my life. And he hangs up the phone. Like, I'm being dramatic, but like, long story short, he's like, okay, I got to go, see you, bye. Hangs up the phone. And it's like, I'm sitting there and I'm a firm believer in like, I want to listen to God when he's trying to tell me something. Mm-hmm. So like, I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, what do I need to do? Do I, trying to figure out, what I'm wanting to do, but rewind. So I've been having a lot of people tell me in different situations, and I've had God tell me in a lot of different ways that I need to be more involved in his word. That is something I do struggle with. And let's just say that this happened on a Tuesday for easy math. Well, Sunday morning, I woke up at 5 a.m. just out of the blue. I'm not a morning person.
He's definitely not.
I'm not a morning
person. Definitely not.
I sleep through my alarm. I'm the guy that hits snooze 60 times. I'm 10 minutes late to work every day. Woke up at 5 in the morning for no reason. Or this was Saturday. And I'm like, why did I do this? Like, it's Saturday. I'm going back to bed. Like, but in my mind, I was like, you should get up and read some scripture, and you should go work out or something. And I'm like, nah, I'm not doing that. Sunday morning, I wake up 5 a.m. And I'm like, like what's going on? Well, then I get that phone call at work that Monday. Let's just say it's Monday. And I'm like, well, maybe God's telling me that like I need to be a better role model for my friends and stuff like that. And I need to get involved in the word, because I can't just use life experiences. I need to quote scripture, and I need to be stronger in my faith. And I'm like, well, maybe I need to do that for these people. 5 minutes after he hung up the phone, not even that, 2 minutes, I get another phone call from a buddy. And we talk periodically, but we don't talk all the time. And he calls me, and I'm like, hey, what's up? We work out sometimes together, so I figured he wanted to come over and work out. Hey, I just want to tell you that you changed my life. And I'm sitting there like, what is going on? And he's like, hey, I had the worst, he's going through some stuff. We won't get into detail, but he's like, I had the worst day of my life yesterday. And he's like, and I'm not sure what I would have done if I didn't know you and if you weren't such a good spiritual role model for me. Wow. Holy cow. Like, why me? Like, I'm not worthy. Like, I am so undeserving. And so long story short, this might have been like a Friday thing. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter on days. Well, same thing. Like, we talk for 2 seconds, and I'm like, no, buddy, it's not me, it's God. Like, I'm happy that you're getting into the word and stuff like that, because I told him like to get the Bible app, which version to read, which would make most sense for him. Start in Matthew, and I described, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. It's all perspectives of Jesus, and then like it's all going to sound repetitive, but it's like it's all the perspective from the author, and then you'll get into Acts, etc. And he read Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and he was just thanking me, and then all of a sudden he's just like, well, I'll talk to you later. Hangs up. Well, the next day, and sorry I got my days mixed up, but it doesn't matter. The next day I wake up 5 o'clock in the morning, no alarm clock, baby doesn't cry, wife doesn't smack me, nothing. I wake up 5 o'clock and my alarm's set for 7 or 6:30, whatever. I'm like, well, good Lord's telling me to get out of bed. I went and ran a mile, worked out a little bit, and then I read a couple chapters in the Bible, because I was like, he's trying to tell me something.
Mm-hmm. So that's awesome.
I mean, I guess I don't really know where I was going with that story, but I just...
He's speaking to you.
I know that I am not worthy, and I am so undeserving of his grace. And then if I can be a light for somebody, that anybody listening, and then I challenge you guys as well, like anybody can be a light for somebody. Yeah. So just always remember that, like, you don't know what else somebody else is going through. So it could be a complete stranger. It could be your best friend. It could be a friend from high school, whatever. Like, I don't know. I just challenge anybody to be that role model.
Yeah. In those moments, you feel like Peter when, you know, Jesus first performs that miracle in front of him with the fish, and he goes down on his knees and he goes, Lord, depart from me. I'm a sinful man. Mm-hmm. That's exactly how you feel, is like unworthy. But I have a kind of a similar story of a guy that goes to my church now, but I knocked on his door 3 years, you know, before this all went down to hunt. And we would just pass each other and, like, you know, like, in passing, like he'd be on his deck smoking a cigarette, and I'd be going to my truck, and he would he'd be drunk most of the time, or offering me weed and all kinds of stuff, and I'm like, no, I'm good, man. And, like, this is literally like 3 seasons going on, and we just you know, go in passing. I try to be friendly and stuff, and it was such uncanny timing, because I went out there. And it wasn't even deer season. I think I was just like putting a camera up or something. I can't remember. But he comes out on his porch, drunk and high, and he's always like cussing like a sailor. And he's like, "What are you doing this weekend, bub?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm actually starting a church, and I'm gonna preach this weekend. You wanna come?" And he was like, and I never heard George cuss again. Ever. And he showed up that Sunday, and he comes ever since, and he was an alcoholic for 20 plus years and felt such a conviction that he had strayed away from God, and now he is like knows way more than me. Wow. Like, he spends all of his time in the Word.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Dude, that's so powerful. That's like goosebumps.
Oh, it's so cool. Like, but I mean, he doesn't, like, you know, I don't know. It was such a cool story. Like, what started with a deer 3 years ago, just, again, seeing how God orchestrates things is we can never think it up.
No.
Like, it's so cool how
it all ties back into just trusting him and just like letting him be in control of your life. And it's hard to express to somebody that doesn't understand or is not a follower that, like, you give him all of your troubles and you give him all of your wants, and like, and he knows you better than you know yourself. Right. And like, he will give you what you want if you give it to him first. And it's such a hard thing it all ties back into the idol thing. Like, we're all sitting at this table very successful in the hunting realm, but we're also very successful because we gave everything to him first.
Yeah. None of the deer on the wall matter. I mean,
no.
I think we all know guys that have I know guys that have killed way bigger deer than I have, and a lot more of them, and they're still hunting. I think about Michael Jordan, who won 6 championships and kept playing, and Tom Brady, who won how many Super Bowls and kept playing. Like, I'm just glad that at least us 4 sitting around this table, and I encourage everybody else to just know that you'll never be satisfied.
No.
Ever.
No,
it's all temporary, and you know, we seen that with Jordan and Brady, and you know, Lee Lakowski's gonna go out and try to kill bigger deer every single year.
He's moved on to bull elk now.
Oh, okay. Well, elk
got into a different species now.
Yeah.
But yeah, to your point, like, maybe it's our own selfish desires to just keep on, but you're never gonna be satisfied, like you say.
Yeah. I mean, you know, as soon as the deer's on the ground for the year, we're already kind of, you know, what that moment goes by so fast when you kill a deer. Like, from the gutting process until you lay your head down at that night, it all is like gone in a flash.
Take as many pictures as you can.
Yeah, but it's all over so quick, and you're one either like left like, man, now what am I gonna do, or you're like instantly thinking about next year. Like, me and Daniel's been thinking about August velvet since January.
Probably since you saw that lighted knock starting to
rip.
Right.
Like, it.
Yeah,
it just,
but I will say, like, I had with my hunt, I had, you know, such a moment that, you know, I when I went to bed that night, and for many nights, you know, it was like I was so happy and satisfied because I saw God work in such a way, and it made my desire to read the Bible, to have a closer walk with Him, a closer relationship with Him, even more. And the deer didn't even matter at that point. It's like, at that point I was like, that was cool, but this is really cool. My relationship with you is that gives me peace. That is so much better.
It's peace is the word you need to use there, because it's strange that I remember what I was going to talk about earlier. So if you're not familiar with the name David Miller, you need to be. It's a gentleman.
There's about 500 of those, 500,000 million around here.
He's not Amish.
Oh, okay.
He's from West Virginia, and he does a very good job. I'm sure you're going to get into.
Yep. So this is what I was going to talk about. So he lives in one of the bow hunting only counties down in western West Virginia. Well, somehow we got him on the podcast, and we were talking about faith and whatnot, and he said something to us that has stuck so stinking hard. Why do you think that we feel so close to God when we're out in the woods and in nature? Because God spoke to Adam in the garden. Every time that God spoke with Adam, they walked through the garden. Think about that for a second. So man naturally feels closer and connected to God in nature. And I don't know about you guys, but I can get some good messages in church, and I do enjoy the worship and stuff like that, but I've had some of the most meaningful conversations that I've ever had with the good Lord sitting in a tree somewhere. And I think that that's just like such a powerful thing for us to pursue, is that it's not, and it's tying back to the peace thing, it's not, you get to a point in your faith where it's like, yeah, you want the deer and you want to kill the deer or whatever, but it's the peace of knowing that, like, I'm close to you in this moment. Right. That's the peace.
I think for me, it was, it was so real to me that, as it's humbling for a grown man to go in the woods and cry. And,
I've been there.
And then, a couple weeks later, realize that, man, I was so twisted. God had this all under control. All I had to do is give it to him. And, the peace of knowing that and knowing that, God wanted my attention so bad. He didn't allow me to kill that buck on opening day because he needed me to be closer to him.
Amen.
And, that's pretty humbling.
Yeah, well, your story is just different than most, okay? I'll be honest, like, I kill a deer and I'm satisfied for about an hour. That sounds kind of bad, but I mean, it is like that satisfaction, but I'm like, man, I'm ready for the next one. Like, I just have such a fleeting satisfaction. Maybe it's my ADD, but I'm like, this ain't it. Like, I thought this was going to fulfill me at the end of the season, and it's not.
Well, to be clear, Dylan, it's not the deer that fulfilled me. It's
yeah, no, I know.
It's what I got out of the journey.
Yeah, that's why I said your story's different, because it meant something completely different. And you even said so yourself, it wasn't the deer, but I'm just like, we invested so much into this deer. I chased him around since July 3rd, 25, and killed him November 1st. I invested so much into him for like an hour of fulfillment. Like, and then you're just left with, like,
almost like an empty, unsettled.
Yeah, you're just, I don't know. But to me, I'm so glad that all of us, like this conversation that we've had tonight, I'm really glad that we all do feel conviction I'm glad that we all do feel a temporary fleeting satisfaction from what we're doing, because there are so many guys that are chasing a dollar, or they're chasing followers, or they're chasing a promotion at work, and they're never going to be satisfied. So I'm just glad that we all feel conviction. I'm glad that we feel a temporary satisfaction.
And we've had this connection or this conversation before amongst ourselves, like, what are we prioritizing and stuff? Like, what are we doing right? What are we doing wrong in our lives? Because something, we can always better ourselves.
Yeah, I have a theory that most, I shouldn't say, well, I'll say most successful hunters probably have an addictive personality. Like, maybe I'm stepping in left field to say that. Maybe you disagree or agree. But I feel that most of the guys that are like consistently killing, or maybe a successful person in life, have a very addictive personality. And what I mean by that is they jump into something 110%. They never do something like at 20%. It's always, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right.
That's why I refuse to try golf. I'm afraid
Hey, I like this guy.
I'm afraid I'm going to fall in love with it.
Don't try it. I went down that rabbit hole.
You're spot on, though. That's exactly how I am.
So what I'm getting at is I have a theory that people like that become successful in hunting, and I'll the cliche, the search. They're searching for something, right? So that they can't feel that there's an emptiness inside of them, right? They're lost, right? They're trying to fulfill the emptiness in their heart with the next thing. Right. And you notice those people that have the addictive personality, because I'm one of them, they bounce. You'll do something for 2 years and you'll do it 110%, and then you'll get burnt out. And you're like, oh, that wasn't it. And then you'll go do something else for a year and you'll do it 110%, and you'll invest all your time and your money and your effort. And then that wasn't it. And you bounce. And what you're looking for is God.
Yep.
And as soon as you find that, you search,
find peace.
Yeah, exactly. That search is no more. It's the peace.
No, you're spot on.
And it's like, and I went through that. Like, I'm living proof of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad you said that, because once you find that peace, man, you don't need anything more. Right, like, you're done.
Yeah, you've literally cracked the code. Like, this is where the satisfaction is. Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking for the people that are missing it, truthfully.
Yeah. Well, gentlemen, we're a little over 2 hours, and I know you guys probably got an hour to maybe hour and a half drive home, so I don't want to take up too much of your time, because it's probably 9:30 already. Any closing thoughts, anything that you would like to touch on? If you want to talk for another hour, we're here, but I just want to let you know that that's where we're at.
No, thank you guys.
Yeah,
thank you guys for what you guys are doing.
We appreciate that.
And being bold about your faith. I mean, even in the title of your podcast, Born Again Bow Hunting. I love that. Mm-hmm. But I say we circle back and we do it again. As we near hunting season, we'll talk about some summer stuff, or what we're going to be chasing, or what our plans are. But no, I enjoyed this.
Well, if you boys ever want if you ever want to chase something like that instead of the Mondos that you're chasing, you guys are welcome anytime to our camp. If you want to go out of state and hunt sometime, it'd be fun to share camp with you guys.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, I mean, obviously the search and Born Again is kind of like a God-made collaboration, I think.
We appreciate it, yeah. I mean, we're not filming anything spectacular, but we'll at least talk a good game.
Well, it sounds like you've had some pretty good seasons though, so don't knock yourself. I mean, praise God for that.
Amen.
Right?
Yeah. Amen. It's all His blessing.
Yeah. So I appreciate you guys, giving us another platform to come on and talk about our mission.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
It's been fun. And for the listeners, you want true peace, you want true happiness. It's not in the horns, it's not in the deer, it's not in the elk, it's not in the wildlife. It's in Jesus.
Amen.
Give your heart to Jesus.
Amen.
Get in the Word, read the Bible.
Amen.
It's overwhelming peace that comes from
And
that.
it's unexplainable. You
It
can't
is.
even fathom it until you experience it.
And as the Bible says, it surpasses understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Can't even grasp the peace.
Yeah. Well, I have some final thoughts. If anybody has made it to the 2 hour and whatever mark this is, I want to thank you. And then also, if anybody has any questions about anything that we talked about, please reach out to us at our channel or the search. I'm sure that you guys would be more than willing to answer any questions that come
Absolutely.
through DM or anything like that. Dylan preaches every Sunday, so I'll throw him a little plug. If you want to go to his church,
Yeah, we need some attendance.
We are still planning on coming at some point.
Okay.
I know we said that
Yeah.
last time we had a podcast
Yeah.
with you, but
I know we need to do that.
yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
We need to do that.
I real quick, keep
Go
this
ahead.
very
Yeah.
brief. I wanted to, when I got saved, I love Billy Graham and watching Billy preach to millions and millions of people. And when God said He wants me to preach, that's exactly what I had envisioned. Because I think of what you said, like we go in 110%, and I was like, oh man, we're gonna need a bigger church. And like, that's what I was thinking. That first day, it was packed with family and friends there, and I'm like, all right. Well, as the days went by, less and less and less. Summer was like crickets. Like I was like, holy cow, it's kind of embarrassing. Well, God let me know right away once I started feeling like that. Quit worrying about the quantity of people that are here. Just trust me. And so I did. And then we went to go crunch numbers, and this was like right in the middle of starting the search. 30 million views last year of people potentially hearing the gospel was
That's awesome.
that's awesome.
That's- yeah.
So like, I could care less if there's, one person at church on Sunday. That's, obviously I want it filled, but again, God has a bigger plan.
Yeah.
Amen.
So,
Amen.
I'd love to have you guys at church, but I'm always live on my personal Facebook, my sermons, and you guys can, you don't even have to drive there. You can just check in there.
Sweet.
Yeah. Let everybody know where they can find you on any kind of social.
Okay.
Then we'll
yeah.
wrap it
So on Instagram, we are at the.search.official. The search was taken. So that's where we are. Instagram's been really tough. Really all of Meta.
They flag anything.
Oh my gosh, we're in and out of recommended jail every other day.
Same.
So just forget Meta. Let's just boycott it. The best place that you can find our content, we're uploading weekly, is our YouTube, and it's to find it the easiest if you've never watched it. Just type in the search hunting, or you'll be taken to NF the search, which couldn't be a bad thing.
Yeah,
It's
not a
good
bad
song.
thing.
And then I have a personal Instagram. Daniel has a personal Instagram that he's never on. But yeah, that's the best place. And DMs, like if you have any questions about your faith, seriously, I get them pretty frequently, and I always respond to those. If you have any questions, like nobody has to know about it. It can just be between you and I, but it's the most important decision you'll ever make.
Yeah.
So
amen.
feel free to message my personal or the search, whatever.
Yeah. Same for us guys. If you guys want to reach out to us, myself, Kev, or Jerry will answer. And if we don't know how to help you, we'll definitely point you in the direction of somebody that will know how to help you. So,
Thanks, fellas.
no, thank you.
Thank you
you.
guys. Truly appreciate you guys making the drive up here.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Alrighty. Well, doesn't matter what you've done in the past. You can always be born again. Born again is out.
Peace.
Love it.